Let's just start with the Houthi attacks and the warnings and the U.S. coalition. It seems that the Houthis are undeterred by the U.S. warnings about consequences and the U.S. intervention. What does that mean short and long term?
I mean, they do not seem concerned about our talk about consequences. The question is, are we going to backboard with action? Like, what type of measures is the United States and coalition partners going to take to deter these Houthi strikes? And as you mentioned, this was the most significant attack involving 18 drones, 2 cruise missiles, 1 ballistic missile. The question is, what comes next if we just keep making rhetorical threats? There has been some discussion that the United States and its allies may actually attack Houthi bases in Yemen. And the question is, would that deter the Houthis, or would that lead to an escalation in their attacks?
So as we both are saying right now, the Houthis really just seem undeterred again by threats of consequences and things like that. The UN, scheduled for a vote for a resolution. Give us a sense. Is that meaningful? And how is all this being seen in the Middle East?
Again, I'm not really sure a UN vote is going to deter the Houthis at this stage. The real question is, will the United States take more significant military action targeting their bases in Yemen? We have done so before, and the question is, will we go back to that type of tactic? But the big issue is, beyond Yemen, does this war potentially spread to other theaters as well? As we've discussed, Frank, we are watching the situation on the Lebanese border very, very closely. We're watching the situation in Iraq very closely. We continue to say this is really a 3-vector war at this point. The question is, is it just going to be Gaza and the Red Sea,
right,
or is it going to be something bigger?
So you kind of led us in that direction, Helima, but are we on the path for some type of escalation if the U.S. does respond? That's kind of the question I was asking you. You mentioned some of these other areas where there's tension. If the U.S. does strike back in a meaningful way, could that spark tensions in other parts of the Middle East?
I mean, we would just have to see. I mean, I think that the real pathway to a wider war remains Lebanon. And what's fascinating to me is you have the Hezbollah leader coming out and essentially saying, well, we'll respond in kind to Israeli strikes. But he does not seem to want to follow the Houthi path in terms of an all-out confrontation. But the Israelis have signaled that they want the Hezbollah forces out of southern Lebanon. They have 80,000 internally displaced people that they want to bring back to northern Israel. And the question is, will the Israelis seek to, again, push Hezbollah back? And is that a catalyst for a wider war? And then you have to watch what's happening in Iraq. We've done strikes in Iraq. Iranian-backed militias have targeted bases with U.S. troops. We've had this tit-for-tat situation there. Could Iraq be a place that we see broader conflict as well, with the U.S. coming into direct fire with Iranian-backed militias?
All right, Helima, I want to get into one of your many wheelhouses, the oil market. Again, near term, long term. What is all this tension in this area? What does it mean for oil?
I mean, right now, market participants are saying there's no supply disruption. Yes, ships are diverting around South Africa, adding 10 days to the journey, but we've not seen an oil tanker hit. We've not seen any significant loss of supply. And so now they're focusing on other issues. They're focusing on U.S. production. They're focusing on potential demand concerns. They're looking at the Saudi OSP cuts into Asia and other markets. But I think this is something we have to keep front and center, because if this war does expand and if Iran becomes involved in a meaningful way, questions about the security of the Straits of Hormuz, like that is a really critical waterway for oil. And the Iranians have struck tankers in that waterway before. And so, Again, if it does expand to Iran, I think it's an entirely different story for oil markets.
All right, last question, but certainly not the least. What does this all mean for investors? I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls about these tensions. If you're an oil investor or you're an equity investor that has any type of exposure to the Middle East, what does this mean?
They are really watching to see, is this contained? Can Secretary of State Blinken and his team come up with some lasting ceasefire? Is there a path for potential reconstruction in Gaza? Like, what is the path to de-escalation? And the concern obviously is, what is the scenario under which this gets worse?